Every damn day.
Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we've got our good friend Susan Green, and we're going to talk about the Vineyard Productions and Creative Arts Theater. She's recently graduated from One and All, so we're going to be talking about entrepreneurialism today. So, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I am doing great. So let's start out with you. Tell us some stuff about you.
Where do we begin?
Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I am originally from a small town called Mason, which is about 10 minutes from the Lansing area. I was a very, very quiet child when I was growing up, and for people to know what I'm doing now, it probably surprises them. I actually created my company because I was involved with another theater company that I thought just was not doing what needed to be done. I feel like our youth need to learn, like, this type of thing, being able to get on camera and present themselves.
So I'm going to stop you for a second.
Sure.
You are way away from you. What'd you do when you were a little kid? You play in mud or anything?
Oh, I was supposed to describe about me, huh?
Just a little bit.
Well, if you think about where I started, I was a very shy, quiet child. So the one thing that I found was that I loved to dance. So I went into being a dancer, and then obviously as I grew up, I went into high school, and in high school I was a cheerleader. So obviously more dance.
Go Bulldogs!
Go Bulldogs! Yes. And I saw that you had Rita on your show.
Oh yeah.
I was like, go Rita! And from there, I was going to school to do child development, but life happens.
Go Piaget.
Yeah, life happens. I had quite a few little life bumps, and then I had two beautiful girls. So I have two beautiful girls that kind of helped this journey move along quite quickly. Obviously, I went through what I call life changes. I went through a divorce, and through the divorce, I had to rediscover who I was. And when I rediscovered who I was, I decided I have a voice. You know what, Jerry?
Yeah,
Sometimes my husband looks at me and goes, because I do have a voice. And I feel like that's part of the reason why the children's theater is so important to a community, is because we teach the youth that they do have a voice. You guys do have a voice out there. And you can stand up for things and create things that normal people don't think you can create.
I did not rig this at all. She is saying this on her own.
This is all me. If you get to know me and my business, you'll understand.
Yet another reason people should join the People's Council. I got to plug that one more time.
That's okay. That's great.
So, that experience you're describing, when we think about what our mission is, we think about, we like entrepreneurialism. We want poverty to go away. All of the social ills we work on. But at the end of the day, I think what it really comes down to is people are born to do something.
Yes.
And they've got a passion or a fire inside of them, and they go through life and get knocked off tilt, right? Your parents saying, well, you're not going to make a lot of money in theater. You better get into psychology or something like that, right?
Oh, if I could only tell you those conversations.
And sometimes, those barriers or the gap gets bigger. And then you get barriers. You got children, you've got a mortgage, you've got all these things, and you can't just quit, and go back to what you were born to be. And so that recalibration happened to you, maybe not by choice.
No, but you know what? It's a good thing. It was a good thing.
Maybe.
And then I'll jump to what we were talking about earlier. I actually found the all-in-one. I think it's called all-in-one, right?
Oh, One and All.
One and All. I always say it wrong, guys. Sorry.
Everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people do.
I actually found that by accident because I was looking for different grants to help me keep offering the programs that I have offered. And really, that was quite an eye-opener for me because I've been around being an entrepreneur. My parents are entrepreneurs. They own many different rental companies, and they rent out apartments. So obviously I was around that. My dad did heating and cooling. So he had two businesses going in one. So obviously I was around that. And so in the meantime, of course, my head goes, how can I be around my kids more and be able to do something that helps community and helps people at the same time? And that's where my heart is.
Yeah. So when you wanted to be an entrepreneur, did you have these thoughts like, I'm going to be my own boss, I'm going to be in control of everything? Do you feel like you're your own boss and in control of everything, or are most people your boss?
Actually, I feel like I'm my boss and I'm in control of things, but control of things is kind of a slippery slope when you're an entrepreneur, because you do have to make sure that your customers are happy. You do have to make sure that you're offering something that people want. You do have to make sure that you're pricing it so that you can make that profit to pay those bills. So, yeah. But if you want to do something, you go for it.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody tell you, now it's not profitable. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what? If we always listen to all those negatives, we wouldn't have the positive thing like you're building, Jerry, and what you're doing for the community. We wouldn't have like what I'm doing when I do my prom dress giveaway. People are like, you aren't going to make any money off of that. Like, I'm not trying to make money off of that. And actually, it really surprises me because within a month, I had 300 dresses. And within that time, I told people, if you can afford it, make a donation because I have to pay my bills, for the electricity. We had about $500 come in, which paid my bills for that month off of those prom dress process.
Well, I think sometimes we measure that capital in financial only, and we forget about our human capital, our natural capital, our built capital, and most importantly, sometimes is the social capital. So that 500 dresses is definitely a symbol of social capital, and the amount of friends and the fabric that you're building in your community by doing that is well worth it. And everyone, not everyone, but
Yeah.
people think I'm nuts for doing what I'm doing. They don't understand why I go from one thing to another so quick, but
well, and that's another crazy thing that we're doing. So my husband and I sat down and we're like, okay, what other cool event can we offer? Because Ovid is basically like right here in the middle of the state. Half hour to Lansing area, 45 minutes up to like Alma, Ithaca, and Owasso has a few things, but nothing really family oriented and centered. So as my husband and I sat down and we started thinking, we're going to put together for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, a laser tag area. Cool. So we're going to take my whole ballroom area and my theater area and turn it into a family friendly laser tag. Why? Because there's nothing there for the families in that area. Yeah. So yes, I'm crazy too.
We do pro wrestling, sword fighting, exactly. All kinds of things. So.
It's what we have to take a look at what people around us need, and especially nowadays, everybody's so negative. I've talked to so many different business owners that actually have closed down because people are so negative right now. We have to get back to our roots and get back to communication. Like making connections, me making a connection with you through that program. That's great because I know that I can call you and say, hey, I'm having this issue. Do you know somebody? You've got 5 connections and you might ask me about another connection and I might have 5 connections. It's all about making connections in our community, and our businesses that we own, they can be community oriented. They don't have to be, here's what I own, here's what I do. Yes, I do children's theater. Yes, I bring kids in and I teach them about theater and how to present themselves. But what they take after that is what is my goal. I've had students that come in that are self-harming. Well, by the time they're done with my program and I've talked to mom and we get down to the roots of what's going on, it's not about the self-harming. It's about something else that they need. And it might not be my program. Mm-hmm. And we get into it and it's like, they need this instead of me, So that's where we're at.
I'm live.
See, your community, that it doesn't bug me.
So let's dive into the One and All program a little bit. We talk about it a lot. You guys know that it's a program that LEAP administers, RDC and the Fledge and the Small Business Development Center are all program partners, and it's for people who are basically startups and struggling through that journey.
Yes.
What'd you like about it?
I loved the community that it created. I mean, I have other people that I can reach out to now and say, hey, I've got this going on, or giving us mentors that I can say, okay, right now I am struggling with this, but I know that it's not just this issue. Or, hey, guess what? I found this that really helped me. Do you want that link to this that helped me figure out how to do this? You know what I mean? So that's what I really loved about it. Yeah, the money is gonna help. Can't lie about that part. That's actually probably the part that drew me in first, was the cash. But then after I get involved, and I'm really surprised that we were even picked. After getting involved, I really see that this is a program that I really hope and pray that they keep continuing, because there is a big need.
So there should be another cohort in January or February. They're working on getting all the funding because we just finished our first funding cycle. So there will be other programs. So applications will be on PureLancing.com. I'm going to plug that a little bit.
Go for it.
And if you'll see the criteria there, you do need to, there's some income constraints and things like that you'll have to check out. But 8-week program, coaching, webinars, mentor, check-in meetings, and $2,500.
It's well worth the time, well worth the effort, and then actually make sure that you go through this and you take notes. And then after you're through that, then actually go and do a little bit more research on it. It basically, what the program is trying to do is get you thinking. And then you need to go beyond just that too. And I loved that about that, because that sparked that in me about creating more.
What I hope everyone gets out of it is that, we were talking about a parent saying, or whoever saying, you're never going to make money on that. But if you come up with a hypothesis and you do your experiment and you objectively analyze your results, your business is going to tell you where to go.
Yes.
You don't have, you shouldn't be guessing. You shouldn't be, I'll build it and everyone will come. It's more planned. It's more thought out than that. And
the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, and I will say this much, the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is keeping your spirits up. I went through a very hard time. Probably, I would say the past 5 years have been the hardest time in my life, between sicknesses and COVID and everything else. We're at ground zero. We really are. Something that I created 10 years ago is now back to, even though we were doing great, we're back to ground zero right now, and we're rebuilding. Do not feel like you have failed. Don't feel like you failed. If something's not working, then take the time to sit back, look at it, look over it, scrutinize it, contact Jerry or some other people that are in business. And as I've always been said, iron sharpens iron. So you want to get better in your business. They might not have the same business as you, but if you contact them and sit back and say, okay, show me how you got where you're at, you could probably take some bits and pieces of their plan and put it in your plan and make your plan grow, because they helped you get stronger.
That's right.
So as an entrepreneur, you've got to keep your spirits up.
I try to keep people in the mindset that there's not such a thing as failure. You succeed or you learn. You succeed and you learn. And if you just keep doing that, you'll pivot to where you need to.
It's all about what's up in here. Honestly.
I also tell people, stay in love with the problem. Right? So what problem are you trying to solve?
Well, the problem that I'm trying to solve is creating future leaders through the visual arts. So I know that my kids that are going through my program are going to be future leaders. They're going to be the ones that are standing out there making a change. They're going to be the ones that maybe someday will be a mayor, maybe someday could be a governor. We don't know. But by teaching them how to stand up, how to present themselves, show them that, you can't talk like this one. You need to enunciate your words. You need to be there, and you need to be there in the moment, not thinking about something over here, but be right there with the people that you're talking to. And that's why I created what I do. And then we're soon to be offering my daughter. I've watched my daughter go from little teeny tiny artist to, she got asked 5 years ago to paint at the Capitol stairs while they were doing praise and worship. And to watch my daughter go from a scared child that didn't really know arts to where she is now. So I'm kind of pushing her to do the entrepreneurial thing and start teaching other youth how to do that.
Awesome.
So it's not just, honestly, I think being an entrepreneur is not just one generation. I really think that you pass it on.
I think we should be passing it on to. Not everybody has a mentor. Not everybody has parents that can be home with them. Like, a single mother with 2 jobs can't pass that on easily.
But there's a neighbor that can be there.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm going.
There is a teacher that can be there. There is somebody in the community that sees it. It could even be the store owner or the clerk.
It could be you.
It could be you. Yes, it could be you, the ones watching this and wanting to make a difference. It could be you. You could be the next person to take a child from not wanting to be alive, not wanting to do anything in their life, just play with their phone or just play on the computer, to being the next person that builds the supernova or super whatever or supercomputer. I know, right? That's the only word that came to my mind, and sorry guys. But anyways, ones that can create something that the next generation might need, or be the answer to a problem. Be the answer to how do we fix everybody? Like right now we have problems with people can't afford food. How do we fix that? And I see Jerry's got food outside where people can get to it. That's awesome. That is a great answer. You know what I mean? And there are answers out there. We haven't heard them because we're telling everybody you can't do it. We can't do that anymore.
So Will Green.
Who? Will
Green. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
Oh. He's from your area. He just liked the.
We have so many Greens in our area. My husband is originally from Mason area, and he really doesn't know his whole family.
Okay.
So, but the Greens name, I'm so thankful it's a good name up there.
Well,
the Greens farm.
Charlie Green.
Yep.
He was one of the brothers that owned the Greens farm.
Yep.
Will is Charlie's son. Charlie Green is a great resource up in St. John.
If you ever are in town, give me a call. I own that big crazy white building downtown that used to be a church. That's me, the crazy theater lady.
So we've talked a little bit about you. Talked a little about the crazy building downtown. Let's do a little plug for that.
Okay.
What's your next thing, or what?
Okay, so
how do people help? How do people come there? How do people
what
do
we're
stuff?
looking for is we're looking for small businesses or businesses in the area that would love to advertise with us, help sponsor us, help get us on the track. Because obviously, I know I'm a business person, but I do not charge enough for our programs. My next upcoming program, just to give a little plug, is Beauty and the Beast. That program in itself, the youth are only paying $80 to be a part of it. And then there's obviously a couple little fees on top of that. I know I should be getting $200 to $300 per student, but my heart is not that. So we are eventually going to work towards charging more, but at this point, and with this economy, there's just no way that we can get what we're worth. So if we could find small businesses that would say, hey, can you put me underneath the banner? Put my name under in the banner, or put my name in the program, or put my name on the back of the t-shirts the kids are running around with the upcoming program. That helps us, even if it's $50. Just to advertise in our little programs is $50 for like a card size. Or come out to our events, come see the kids. Our tickets are $10. We can seat up to 70 people, and we've been doing this last season. We did 3 shows, and we were packed. We had 70 people every single show, which was amazing for me. I was so excited because that was the first time I had ever done 3 shows. And then our next cool thing, because I was talking about family friendly, I think I've said it once before, we're putting together a laser tag. So if you'd like to be a sponsor with that one, we can put your name on stuff and everything else. We could put your name on our advertisements as I advertise it. And actually, we probably can even put you in with I'm learning webpage stuff.
You are?
Yes, I do have a webpage now, but I'm learning how to add things to it.
Should we put your website out there?
Sure. It is Vineyard Creative Arts Theater. And that's also the same thing for Facebook and Instagram. Sorry, you put me on the spot.
.com.
You got me. Yep,
So
you
that's
got me
at
on that one.
Vineyard Creative
Arts Theater.
Theater.com. All right.
That's us.
So we can visit there. We
Yep.
can see when shows are coming
Yep.
up. We're going to be able to see when the grand opening of the laser tag
Yes,
is.
that one's actually going to be fun. I'm actually really, really excited about that one. We're actually going to open it up the night that they open up Carriage Days. So we're hoping that, and that's just going to be $5 a game, which is cheap, $5 a game. And I think we're going to do 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how many people are coming in. And we can have anywhere from 4 players all the way up to 8 players to, we're working on maybe more than 8 players. We haven't decided yet. So yes, come see us. We would be excited to have some people visit us.
So, we covered this a bit as we were weaving through the first couple parts. But who's your community? How do you define that? Why are you good for them? Those types of questions.
Okay. Our community is a small farming community, which we fit in great with because that's what I grew up with, my husband grew up with. We grew up in Mason, which is a small farming community. Bulldogs. And to move into Ovid.
What's Ovid? Like the
Ovid
udders?
is
Ovid
Ovid is
udders?
like
Well, it's Ovid LC,
Vikings.
isn't it?
Vikings. I think
That's
it's
right.
Vikings.
Yeah,
if
I
I'm
think
right.
you're right. I think you're right.
Sorry, guys. I failed on that one.
Oh, sorry.
I failed on that
I
one.
went and put her on the spot. And
That's
hurt
okay.
her brand.
That's okay. You're not hurting my brand. Actually, they're probably laughing. We've only been in Ovid now for about 3 years.
Is that where like the moo milk?
So
stuff
that's
is?
Elsie.
Oh,
So
okay.
Ovid, make sure you don't do this.
I know, I'm
Elsie
trying
and
to get it
Ovid
right.
are total different towns.
No,
guys.
that's Ovid LC. That's the school closings. Where
Ovid is a town, and Elsie is. It's not considered a town. It's considered. What do they consider it? Anyways, we'll call it a town.
all right.
So they are separate. People get
Yeah,
upset.
I know.
But yes, it is a farming community. And what I feel like we do is that we're taking in youth that normally would have to travel. Sorry, Lansing. Travel 30 minutes to Lansing. Travel 40 minutes really to get to Ithaca, I think is the next place that there is a children's theater. They do have something in Owasso, but I won't go there.
No.
No.
Okay.
With my program, everybody, whether they want to or not, has a speaking part. A lot of them come in and they want to be what's called tree number 3. No. You're getting on my stage. You're going to at least say 5 words, even if it's hello. But we take programs and we cater around the youth. So what we're taking is these students that are the only really big offerings in town are football, basketball, the normal regular sports. Now the school does do 1 play a year, and I think the middle school does 1 play a year too. So we take that and we have them every 8 to 11 weeks.
Okay.
So, and that's where we bring them in, and you know what? We've had students that go from my program straight into the middle school and are a part of the play, and teachers are like, oh, they know what they're doing. I don't have to teach them how to stand.
Whispering isn't good on their audio.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to your audio. I'm not used to this. This is all new, and I'm learning this just as everybody else is.
What? You don't have a podcast yet?
I
But
don't.
everybody had a podcast.
You know what? Maybe that'll be something I talk to you for 3 seconds about how to get up and running. I'm just now learning how to do Facebook Lives, okay? So you should be proud of that
All right.
one.
I'm proud of it.
And I'm getting used to doing more and more video calling because I'm not used to seeing myself on the screen. I've always been a behind person. Now I got to be a front person.
There's a phrase in sports, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit too, that, if the coach is only focused on winning and he's not focused on growing young people, it's not a very good coach. And it seems like you have that same strategy, right?
I do. And I feel like, and this is what I tell parents when they come in, I already know your child's going to age out of my program. I already know that if your child really wants to continue with this, they're going to get other opportunities. And I have had a couple students that come in and I'm teary-eyed because they're not coming back right away. because I have found them opportunities to go do.
Mhm.
I said, take them, because you're not here for me. I'm here to help you launch.
Right.
Really, that is what we're doing, is we're launching them into a future. You
See,
know?
I think organizations that help other people oftentimes feel like they own those people in some way, right?
They do.
And we've got to flip that narrative. I think they own us.
Right.
We are for them. We are serving them, whether it's your customer, whether it's a
Yep.
client that you're helping, or whatever it is. That's kind of what I was getting at as
Yeah.
being my own boss. No, I take care of the trash. I clean
Yep.
the bathrooms.
Yep.
If somebody walks in that room and says, "Hey, Jerry," I got to stand up and talk to them.
Yep.
I am not in control of my life at all.
I agree. And it's not always what am I going to do today? It is, okay, universe, what do you have for me to do today? I didn't really think of, when I got into that program, that I'd be sitting here on a podcast in Lansing talking with you and telling about my programs and our communities, really, and where we could be.
So I want to go back to Ovid for a second. What kind of social problems are there in Ovid? Is there opioids? Is it unhousing? Are there homeless people? Are there, what kind of things do you see at that level?
Actually, I'm going to get teary-eyed about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. About 2 blocks away, not even that. There was a drug home, I guess, and they were bringing in youth, and they were doing all sorts of stuff. Now, this is all, I don't know exactly, and I can't tell you exactly, because we're a small town, there's all rumors and everything. We know that there's opioids in there. We know that youth are using them. We know that I live right next to the library, and there was problems with youth breaking into it. Somebody had a great, awesome idea and put up a community give and take food pantry type thing.
Mhm.
They were taking that and smearing it all over the back of the library. And my poor property, I've lost a couple of trees because of them throwing stuff at it. But it's there. And I know that there is housing issues in Ovid. I know that the prices in town are quite high. And I know that it's there. And I know that everybody tries to ignore it. We actually, sorry, Ovid, we really don't have police anymore.
No.
We used to have an awesome police chief who engaged with the youth, who did stuff. Just a plug for you, Al. And he used to come into my place and be like, what can we do together for the community? It's not there anymore. And I just want to cry, because it's not there. It's not the police chief that they've brought in. I haven't even met, which is probably my fault, because I haven't reached out. But it hasn't been. It's not the same. It is there, and we know that it's there. It's an underlining thing that everybody tries to ignore.
Frankly, it sounds like meth more than heroin or something.
It probably is. It probably is. I don't really know that scene. I've been blessed enough to be away from it and be, I guess, what you would call sheltered from it.
Yeah.
I've never gone in that aspect. So,
But it's everywhere. I mean,
it is.
It doesn't matter, small community, big community, white or black community.
I think the hardest part is, with the small community, you see it more, and there's also that little talk more. So you really don't know what's truth and what's not truth. Like I said, this is what we hear. This is what they say over here. So we don't know. And I know that a couple weeks ago, there was a problem with a youth bringing a gun. And it was actually in our backyard, in the library back area. And the library is not a bad area. It's like, bam, here it is in the open. There was an argument between 2 youth, and a kid brought a gun. It's there, guys. There's no denying it. But what we need to figure out, and this is the thing, what we need to figure out is how to stop it. Reach out to those youth. Guys, stop ignoring them. We're ignoring them. We really are. When you look at it, how many parents are sitting on their phones? How many parents come home and just play video games and not pay attention to that child that's right there? I understand you come home from work, but you can't zone out. You got to come home and be there. And I guess that's one of my things that I tell the parents, you need to be there. I'm going to tell you when practice is. I don't mind if you stay. You know?
What's poverty like in Ovid?
Um,
Because it's rural poverty is often overlooked.
it is. You see it more in the schools, and I'm not really involved with the schools anymore, which is kind of sad. I really should be. It's there. You can tell when a child hasn't eaten. You can tell, and thank goodness for, even though as annoying as it is, having to pick up all these wrappers and everything else in my yard, as mad as I get, having that community food spot. A lot of people put snacks in there for the kids because there is, when summer's out, there's no food program for them. They're not getting that lunch. They're not getting that breakfast because they might not even get dinner. And you know, it's kind of kept in the hush hush, unless you are right in, and we're really not right in the thick of everything. I can say, because I'm not really reaching those kids. Unless you're in the schools, and I love you teachers. Thank you for what you do for those kids. It's there. It's just hidden. It's small town, and guess what they do in small towns? They bury it.
Yes.
They bury it. They only want you to see the facade. It's buried. So it is there. And if you walk through our downtown, it really hurts me. All I can say is it's kind of like walking through an old Western movie. You could see little brushes,
Tumbleweeds.
yeah, going across the town because there's so many empty buildings that are run down. I wish we could be like St. John's community and Owasso community. People go from St. John's to Owasso and they forget that little stretch between Elsie and Ovid on their way there. And it's kind of a forgotten town.
Do you have Narcan?
We do.
All right.
I do.
'Cause I was going to offer you some.
I have 2 things in Narcan.
All right.
And actually, I've even talked to my husband about we may even get the ADs in there. At one time, I was certified in the ADs when I worked in the schools.
Okay.
So we've even talked about seeing if there's any grants to get something like that in there. We do. We have 2 of them in them.
Awesome.
Actually, I think we have 4. I have 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs because we live in our facility.
So anybody out there right now that wants to improve the community, I mean, that is your overlying thing,
Yes.
right? What, and you might have already done it, so it's okay to repeat it. Give them a little bit of advice before we sign off. What's something simple they could do today?
Let's invest in small businesses. Guys, I've tried. I've put up pop-up things and you don't show up. You know, I'm pulling out all of these people that build things and bake things and everything else, and I build these pop-ups and I get the vendors in and you don't show up. You've told me what you wanted, but I've created it and you don't show up. What am I supposed to do? Guys, let's think about the community. Let's build our town back up. Elsie, you're doing a great job. I see that you are building up your community and you are working towards getting your police force going up there. That's great. And your downtown, they're working on it. Let's work on Ovid. Let's get us back so that we are not having things that are hidden. You know, I was in the planning commission for a while and I ended up quitting because I just got frustrated because I couldn't make that difference. You know?
Well, I can feel your passion. I can feel your emotion. I can see it. And thanks for coming on the show and
Thank you,
sharing your
Jerry.
story and telling us about your business and your small farm community.
That was just a great experience. I appreciate it, Jerry. And keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things out there.
Thank you. All right. That's a wrap for Every Damn Day. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to pick a subject, probably going to be housing, and I'm going to be talking on my own tomorrow. So I love y'all. Have a great day, and I will see you later.